Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Richard Zane?
Nick Savage, how are we, sir?
It's the Bro Hour.
It's the Bro Hour. I guess we could also dust off a name we used to use when Dalton would host the show or Bronny would host the show and Olin was taking the day off. The penalty kill. We're just trying to run out the clock. Trying to not give up a goal, not make a mistake, and not get the show taken off the air.
Well, I think we can do that. This is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Again, Nuno out enjoying the bye week, some family time. So I'm in the host chair for today. He'll be back with you Monday, of course, to preview all things Auburn. But we're still kind of taking our Notre Dame victory lap, still wrapping up the big win.
And I think you should, weekend. Right? Like,
yeah.
Of course, I'm biased, right? I'm an Aggie. I'm going to flex here. I got 2 degrees from Texas A&M. So, like, I grew up an Aggie. Like, of course, you should celebrate and enjoy that win. And it's nice to be able to celebrate it for 2 straight weeks instead of just one. And the other thing is, I still think Texas A&M's win over Notre Dame last week is the best anywhere in college football so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll bring in the other 2 bros. Why not? Why don't just do it right off the bat?
More bros.
We got Cade Bickham behind the glass directing today. We got Reese Nygren over at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Cade, we'll talk to you first. What's up, my man?
What's up, guys? Well, you know, I actually had a topic that I thought of.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That I brought it up.
Host Cade Bickham.
Wait, you were thinking?
Oh, hey, that's the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
I wasn't, apparently.
Yeah, it must have hurt when you were.
But no, it was something I brought up to Luke Evangelist yesterday at the end of the very end of the B Team show. What was the first non-A&M football game, college football game that you went to, if you've been to one, in another stadium? Ooh. I was informed yesterday that my answer was almost correct. It was not Colorado A&M. It was Rice versus East Carolina when I still lived in Houston. Yeah,
I think I went to a U of H game one time.
I forget what year it was. I was a kid, and we went to a Cotton Bowl in Dallas on New Year's Day, and I remember it being so cold. Mm-hmm. And I think Auburn beat Nebraska that day, and we sat on the Nebraska side of the stadium, and they just chanted, "Go Big Red, go Big Red," over and over and over again. So I think that was my first college football game in a different stadium that wasn't Kyle Field. Other than that, maybe like a Oklahoma State game as a high schooler. Like I went up to Stillwater one time, something like that.
I'm trying to think.
I haven't been to too many games or stadiums around the country or even the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Never been to a game at Amon G. Carter. Never been to a game at Ford. Never been to a game at DKR or Rice or down at UH.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to a game at Baylor, a couple of them. Obviously been to a ton of Texas A&M games. I've been to the stadium in Norman, but not for a football game, for a concert.
Oh, nice.
I've been to a game at Michigan. I've been to a game at Notre Dame. Been to a game at the Rose Bowl, but that was an A&M game. So, and I don't want to relive that, Cade. Thanks.
Reese Nygren over at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
Yeah,
Are you?
I'm not going to count the A&M games versus Arkansas and Dallas.
Yeah.
Because that
Neutral side.
I don't go to a whole lot of non-A&M games, but the first one I went to was the Sugar Bowl last year, the Georgia Notre Dame game. Sitting on my couch, Dad and I were bored, and he was like, "You want to make the trip to New Orleans?" And I was like, "Sure." So I think that's probably the first game, and that's like the most
playoff
recent
game too. That's a cool experience.
It was a cool experience, especially we were sitting on the Notre Dame side, and they obviously won, and they were super excited, even though I was pulling for the Dogs, SEC.
Nice.
Well, look at you, just conference
Following
loyal.
I'm a conference
You know what he
Towing the
is?
company line.
You know what he is? He's a bro.
He's a bro.
He's a bro.
This is the bro hour. Richard, I think it would be kind of a malpractice to not at least mention this. Again, this is a sports talk show. You're going to get sports talk, but a decision made by Texas A&M University Board of Regents yesterday definitely going to impact athletics. So we'll just touch on it briefly. Billy might have some comments later, but obviously the A&M Board of Regents makes a move Mark Welsh steps down.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the way the release came through, it was Chancellor Glenn Hagar announcing on behalf of President Mark A. Welsh III that he is going to resign effective 5 p.m. Central Time today, Friday, September the 19th. And I say that's interesting because this will now be and I do this all the time, whether we talk about football coaches or ADs or baseball coaches or basketball coaches, it'll now be my third different president to cover during a time at TexAgs. And I can remember when M. Catherine Banks, the predecessor ahead of Mark Welsh, when she stepped down, she also resigned. But the release that came through via the Board of Regents included quotes from her. She announced her resignation. We still have not heard from Mark A. Welsh as he takes his final day at the administration building today.
Yeah.
So that's what I find interesting about it. It'll also be whoever fills his shoes in an interim or full-time basis, Nick, will be the fourth president that Texas A&M University will have had in the last 6 years, which is crazy.
Again, if you want to read a little bit more about it, Richard has an article on TexAgs.com right now, so go check that out. But we'll keep it sports talk here on TexAgs Live. And it came out yesterday that the SEC is going to announce the 3 permanent opponents for every SEC school and the 2026 conference opponents for each SEC school football. So I think we kind of have an idea, like we can safely assume we're going to get Texas every year, right?
I think that's a very safe assumption.
Yeah. Other two, you would probably bet LSU is going to be one of them.
I feel very safe about LSU being the second permanent opponent. The third one's where it gets interesting.
Definitely.
Because you could have it be Arkansas. There's a historical tie there back to the days of the Southwest Conference. And of course, they've played annually up at AT&T Stadium up until this year. They've tried to make it a Southwest Classic. Remember, they were playing a non-conference matchup before Texas A&M joined the league back up again in Arlington. But that hasn't always felt like a rivalry to me, at least to New Aggs. It's been very, very one-sided, thankfully, in favor of the Aggies. A&M has only lost 1 game to Arkansas since they've joined the Southeastern Conference. So there's reason 1 for Arkansas to be a permanent opponent. Then there's the Missouri and Oklahoma ties, right? Because you were in the Big 12 with both of those schools. Granted, Texas A&M has been in the Southeastern Conference now for almost the same amount of time they had been in the Big 12.
Yep.
So it's not like those are 2 historic rivalries. Right now, I know Texas A&M and OU played some really, really good games in like 2009, 2010, 2011. I mean, you can think about Von Miller stop at the goal line in 2010. That's iconic. But to be completely honest with you, does Oklahoma move the needle for me? Not really. Like, I know that's a historical national brand. That's a blue blood. That's a traditional power. But as far as rivalries go, that one doesn't make sense. And I could say the same about Mizzou, but without the national powerhouse.
Yeah.
And the national championship trophies and all that goes with it. Then the other one that I've seen floated that doesn't really seem like a fit, but also something I don't think Aggies should turn their nose up at, is the Mississippi State angle.
Yeah.
I know it's maroon versus maroon. I know they tried to do the Snow Bowl thing back in 2012 when A&M wore the black jerseys and Mississippi State honored that team. yada, yada, yada. Again, I don't think that moves the needle from a blood-boiling rivalry standpoint, but in a league as tough as the SEC, when those 6 other conference games are going to rotate year to year, and you don't know if you're going to get Georgia or Alabama or you're going to get LSU or Auburn if Auburn's up, or I guess you can't even look at them as a doormat now. Look at what Vanderbilt's doing. They're ranked 20th in the country. When the league is that good, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a team like Mississippi State on your schedule each and every year. And that's no disrespect to what the Bulldogs are doing right now, because they're receiving votes in the current AP poll. Yeah. They look much improved over a year ago. And Jeff Lebby, if he could pick off a team or two, and I think he probably will later this season, he could have some serious momentum rolling into 2026. So as far as teams I would like to see, definitely Texas and LSU. I would like to see those 2 teams be the permanent rivals. And then selfishly, because I grew up in DFW, and I had a lot of kids that I went to high school with that ended up going to Arkansas. It's kind of a friendly, fun rivalry on a personal level. So I wouldn't be upset to see the Arkansas Razorbacks as Texas A&M's 3rd permanent rival.
I agree. I like the point that you're making where it's going to be such a tough slate no matter what you get, and especially if you're expecting Texas and LSU. It would be nice to maybe get a little bit of again, it's the SEC. There's no easy game, but Arkansas, you've dominated that matchup ever since you joined the SEC, like you said. Mississippi State, historically has been down as when A&M has played them in the past. So I think hoping for maybe one of those 2 would be ideal, but we'll see. Cade, I can see you have a thought on this.
So I was just gonna mention, what about the old Bonham Trophy, South Carolina as the
there you go.
As
That's
the 3rd one.
I could see that happening, but again, that goes back to Richard's point. That's like almost like a forced rivalry that they're trying to make. It's very much a forced
rivalry. No one ever sees the Bonham Trophy. No one really knows where it exists. We assume it's in the South Carolina State House right now after they won last year. We don't know. When Texas A&M controlled the trophy for the first, 8 years of its existence, it sat in the basement of the Alamo in San Antonio. No one sees the trophy. They don't even do a presentation after the game. There's really no crossover between Texas A&M students and South Carolina students. There's really no history between the 2 other than James Bonham coming to fight at the Alamo back in the 1800s. Just a reminder to remember the Alamo today, Nick. And also the other thing is there's so much travel involved in that one.
Yeah,
that's a good
point.
And
I don't think the SEC really cares about travel, especially when they're making so much money off the TV deal.
Mm-hmm.
But for the fans, it's hard for that rivalry to really take off when, if you're trying to go from College Station to Columbia, South Carolina, or vice versa, it's not exactly an easy trip.
Yeah.
And I assume when South Carolina comes here next month, you're not going to see that many Gamecock fans walking around College Station, Texas.
Reese, what's your ideal 3 permanent opponents?
So right now, as a current student, I want to see as many big games at Kyle Field. So right now,
I like that reasoning.
Yeah. So right now, I'd be Oklahoma. But when I graduate and I'm hey, I just want to see us get as many wins as possible, I may be give us Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I want Oklahoma, South Carolina, just because they're good, and when they come here, it'll be a big game. So that's what I'm leaning towards right now.
Is South Carolina good right now?
Not today as we speak right now.
I think we'll find out a lot this Saturday.
Yeah,
that's true.
If Sellers plays,
I think everything coming out on Twitter is, if that's true, which you never know, but everything looks like he's trending towards playing. So
I do like Reese's approach to this. He ain't scared.
Yeah.
No.
Load it up.
Yeah.
Let's play 12 ranked opponents. That's Reese Nygren's outlook on it.
Let's talk about okay, so we got the 3 permanent opponents. What are maybe 1 or 2? Obviously, the obvious answer is we want Georgia to come to Kyle Field. I don't from a win standpoint, I don't know if you want that, but from a fan, you want to see the marquee matchup at Kyle Field.
Yeah,
for the first time.
I agree with Reese wholeheartedly. You want to see bigger games. You want to see Texas A&M playing in these spotlight games. You want to see them in prime time on ABC week in and week out, or as much as possible, right? So the more you play ranked opponents, the more likely that is to happen. So if you want to bring Georgia to Kyle Field for the first time since A&M's been in the league, sign me up. Let's do it. I know Florida's bad right now, but that is a national brand. If you want to have Florida on the schedule next year, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Alabama. Same thing with Auburn. Same thing with Tennessee.
Not like this is a marquee matchup, but when's the last time Vanderbilt's been to Kyle Field? In 2020?
It's probably
the
been
first
since
game
2020.
Of the 2020. Yeah, so
and
again,
before then, it might have been 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
The Texas A&M went up to Vanderbilt when Ricky Seals-Jones was on the team. I want to, because I remember him wearing those
black.
I thought they were cool.
I
The
do
white
too.
jerseys with like the gray stripes on the shoulder. I thought those were cool looking alternate jerseys. And A&M went up there. I want to say shut them out in Nashville.
I remember that game. Hey, before we hit a break, Richard, let's run our mouths. We got 3 things we want to see. That's brought to you by Braz's Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store where you can find Brooks, On, and Hoka shoes, located in Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. So I'll let you go first.
You want me to go first? That's a little unfair, but I can do that. I can do it. I'm not going to complain about it. Not anymore. Thing I want to see first, one, the inside of my eyelids. It's bye week. I want to be able to sleep in on Saturday morning.
That's a great point.
It hasn't felt like a bye week around here at all. A lot of people filling in positions that they normally don't. Obviously, the man to my right is the perfect example of that, as is the guy behind the scene and behind the glass, Cade Bickham. So I know that there's a lot of rest, catching up on sleep that a lot of people around the TexAgs office could stand to do this bye week. So that's number 1 on my list. Number 2, because there's so many Texas A&M sporting events going on this weekend. Texas A&M volleyball played a match last night. Soccer played a match last night. Texas A&M volleyball is going to continue. They've got 2 more home games this weekend. A&M soccer is going to be back at home on Sunday. So I'll go with this angle. I want to see Jamie Morrison and the volleyball team not only win all 3 of their games this weekend, I want to see them go 9-0 in sets. I don't want to see them drop a set at the Texas A&M Invitational. That's number 1 thing, or that's number 2 thing I want to see. And then I guess I'll give you a football-related thing I want to see. Give me like 7 overtimes in Norman, Oklahoma tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, that last one is exactly my first one. I want to see a super physical 7 overtime game against Auburn and OU. And
not wishing for anybody to be hurt, right? No injuries, just a lot of wear and tear. A lot of energy spent, a lot of emotions.
And Auburn to lose, because you don't want them to come in with some momentum. You want them to drop the game. Number 2, I want to see Craver remain the nation's leader in receiving. The 2 guys closest to him right now, Chris Brazel, the second out of Tennessee. He's 79 yards behind Craver with 364. And then Harrison Wallace, the third, has 339 receiving yards, 104 yards back. So I just want to see them, not have the best games. And we're talking about a leading receiver in Mario Craver going into next week. And then last one for you. I went baseball on you. I'm surprised you didn't go baseball. I want to see the Astros sweep the Mariners.
Sweep
them.
So you want to see a sweep? Would you be happy with 2 out of 3?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
You can never.
Just as long as you can take that. I thought about doing baseball, but I did like 20 minutes of baseball on yesterday's B team. I didn't want to get in my feels this early in the morning.
He's upset. In case you missed it, Clayton Kershaw announced he is retiring. And he's making his final start at Dodger Stadium on Saturday, right?
Today, actually.
Oh, today. Okay.
Relevant. Keep everything Texas A&M sports related. Texas A&M legend, Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Because he signed a letter of intent with Rob Childress way back in the day.
Obviously. All right, we'll hit our first break here. On the other side, we'll get into Pick 6. That's brought to you by Prize Picks. You're listening to the Go Hour. We're presented by the Warehouse at CCU Creations. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner Jewelers.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
Back here on TexAgs Live, it's the Go Hour. We're presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations and Richard Zane. Before we get into Pick 6, Reese, would you read some comments on the YouTube page for me?
Ranchero Texano said, "Hey, Mario Craver won't remain number one because math, guys. Hard to rack up yards on a bye."
It's not what I was saying.
I think we understand that. I think Mario Craver's total for this weekend is going to be a 0.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere. But did you know Chris Brazel, who is 79 yards behind Mario Craver for the National League,
He can get 78.
He only had 62 against Syracuse.
Oh, well,
Or
I wouldn't put him above Mario Craver.
Harrison Wallace III at Ole Miss, 104 yards behind Mr. Craver. Only had 92 against Arkansas.
Still wouldn't do it.
Now, I know I'm an Aggie, and I'm not great at math, but that Aggie math tells me that if Wallace goes for 92 and if Brazel goes for 62, they would not surpass Mario Craver.
Just wanted to check that out. Let's get into prize picks presented by Pick 6. We'll have the final countdown in a little bit, and that will be legit Pick 6, but we're going to have fun with it. Our picks don't count towards any standings or anything like that. I'll read OB's picks as we go. We got to go somewhat quickly here, Reese, to get to Charean Williams on the other side. But again, Pick 6 is brought to you by Prize Picks. So let's get our first game, Reese.
First game, number 13, Ole Miss hosts Tulane at 2:30 on Saturday. Ole Miss is 13.5-point favorites.
OB picked Tulane. I'm going to pick Tulane to cover. Ole Miss wins that one.
I'm right there with you, Nick. I think the Rebs win this one, but that line is just way too big. 2 touchdowns? No way. Jake Ratzlaff, he's no longer the BYU, but he's a good quarterback. He's going to keep the green wave in that one.
Next one, Reese.
Next one, number 17, Texas Tech travels to number 16, Utah at 11 a.m. on Saturday on Fox. Utah 3.5-point favorites.
Olin picked Texas Tech. I'm going to take Tech as well.
Tech on the road, huh? I think we're finally going to find out what they've got up in Lubbock as they hit the road for a top 20 game. Hard for me to pick against Kyle Whittingham, so I'll take the Utes.
Dude, I don't know anything about Utah. That's the thing.
But I don't know anything about Texas Tech either. I think we're going to learn a lot about who's a real contender in the Big 12 on Saturday at 11 a.m.
Very true. Next game, Reese.
Number 21, Michigan travels to take on Big Red Nebraska at 2:30 on Saturday. Michigan 2.5-point road favorites.
Olin took Michigan. I'm going to take Nebraska. I believe in Patrick Mahomes.
Time out. You mean Patrick Mahomes' clone?
Yeah.
Dylan Raiola.
Sorry, Dylan Raiola.
I think Michigan's got the more talented quarterback, but right now Nebraska might have the better quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Still, I think the talent in Maize and Blue is going to be able to overwhelm Big Red. Go Blue. Michigan covers.
Next game, Reese.
Next game, number 9, Illinois travels to take on number 19, Indiana at 6:30 on Saturday. Indiana 5.5-point favorites.
I'm shocked that the line is that big. 5.5, even though one team's in the top 10 and they're the underdog.
Yeah. Olin picked Illinois. I'm going Illinois as well.
Coach Sig, all he does is win, though. And it's at home in Bloomington at night. He knows how to get those Hoosiers pumped up. Give me the Illini.
Nice little
Not
fake
so
out
fast,
there.
my friend.
Next one, Reese.
Lenora Sellers potentially in South Carolina travel to take on number 23, Missouri at 6 o'clock on Saturday. Missouri 10.5-point favorites.
That's a big line for that game. Maybe we took that whenever we thought
sounds
Lenore's
about right.
was still out.
I just looked up the SEC's availability report, and Lenora Sellers is listed as probable, which means it's higher than 50% chance that he's going to play. With or without Lenora Sellers, that South Carolina offense has not looked very good. I think they could be reeling in South Carolina. I don't think Shane Beamer is going to be good enough to get it done, and I think the mad scientist Eli Drinkwitz is going to put it together. I really liked what Bo Pribula has been doing, and their running back has been fantastic. So I'll take the Tigers.
OB picked Missouri. I'm going to take South Carolina to cover, but Missouri wins it in the end. And last one for us, Reese.
And then last one, a game that I'm sure a lot of Aggies will have their eyes on. Number 22, Auburn travels to Oklahoma to take on the number 11 ranked Sooners at 2:30 on Saturday. Oklahoma 6.5-point favorites.
That line seems big too for a game like that, but Oklahoma at home, still don't know what Auburn has on offense outside of the running game. Are they going to have to pass? This seems like a game where Brent Venables' defense could feast, but I will take Oklahoma to win, Auburn to cover.
I'll go. Oh, well, OB picked Oklahoma. I'll pick OU as well, just because I think John Mateer is a fun player to watch. He's been pretty, as advertised, or I guess, yeah. I mean, he was pretty hyped up.
He has been as advertised, at least so far. Getting a lot of credit for that Michigan win.
Yep.
I think we'll learn a little bit more about just how good Michigan is this week as well as they go on the road. But can't fault John Mateer for beating the team he had to play on his schedule and beating them pretty handedly. So I understand why John Mateer is currently a Heisman contender. I think he should be, but I know he's going to have to prove it a few more times later on this season, beginning tomorrow.
Picking up a big SEC win would go a long way in doing that. We'll hit a break here. On the other side, we'll get into Pro Football Talk. Charean Williams recap Week 2 in the NFL and get her thoughts on A&M's big win over Notre Dame. All that and more. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Schulers.
Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuno here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olsen wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it.
Little Rush bringing us back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers, and it is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We're going to go out to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Couldn't catch up with her earlier this week, but we get a chance to now. Charean Williams, Pro Football Talk, on the phone. Charean, good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I finally have my voice back. I don't know how good I would have been talking on Tuesday. I tried to help the Ags out as much as I could on Saturday. So what an incredible experience to be at Notre Dame and see that classic of a game. So it was fantastic. But yeah, I got my voice back, so that's a good thing.
That's good. We want to hear all about it. So just dive in. Tell us about it. How was the experience? Give us your thoughts on the game and just the biggest takeaways on a really, really big A&M win.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible experience. And, I told Notre Dame fans after the game, I would have said that even if the Aggies had lost. I was just kind of the cherry on top of it. It was such a great game, and A&M won the game the way they did at the end. We've seen so many of those games that end like that go against us. And I just had a lot of confidence on that fourth down play that we were going to find a way to do it. And obviously we did. So that made it even more special. But what a great campus, and the fans the Notre Dame fans could not have been nicer. The whole experience was just over the top great. And if you ever have a chance, if A&M ever plays there again, I highly recommend finding a way to get there because it was unbelievable. We even had the guy in front of us go to the concession stand and came back with 2 waters and a pretzel for us. So, everybody that we ran into was just as nice as could be. You might want to go take pictures here. You probably want to go see this, and welcome to South Bend. And it was awesome. And then just the way that the game went. And, I think it started off poorly, about as poorly as a game could start off. And I was like, well, this really isn't how we wanted to start. And the momentum was completely on Notre Dame's side, and then it's a matter of playing catch-up, but at least you had basically a full game to catch up, and by halftime they had done that. Unfortunate that we didn't make the long field goal there before the half, but, I think they showed that they were going to be in the game the rest of the way they were playing offensively. You were just going to have to make a few stops on defense to be able to beat Notre Dame, and they did that. And they did it when they needed to make those stops. They made them. And then I wasn't even watching the extra point, just assuming it was going to be made. So I didn't know. I was totally not paying attention. I had no idea. I had to ask, surely they didn't go for it, right? And then later I saw the replay of how botched that was. And unfortunate for them because, those are pretty automatic, which is what I thought it was. And then it made our extra point maybe a little more thrilling than what extra points normally are. But overall, I thought they played really well. And, when you talk about the holding call at the end, yes, it was a hold. Yes, the officials missed it. They also missed a ton of other calls. They missed the late hit out of bounds over there. I think it was Fussy, whoever it was. They missed that late hit. They missed some holds. You can question the hold on the kickoff return. There's a lot of things they missed in that game. The officials were not very good. They were probably the worst part of that game from start to finish. But we got it done, and in every game there's missed calls, so everybody can move on from the holding call and blaming that for Notre Dame not winning. I think we've moved on from that. Big win from A&M though, and I will say this too. Everybody calls it a program changing win. It can be that. It's not that yet. If you go out and lose to Auburn, it's certainly not that. So you have to build on that. And I think they will. But it's going to be one of those things that you can't say that now. You're going to have to wait till the end of the season and then look back and go, yes, that Notre Dame game changed this program, changed how everybody viewed this program, changed how the players viewed this program, gave them momentum. They went on and had this great year. But they're going to have to build on this. You can't just sit here and say this is program changing and then go out and lose 4 or 5 conference games. It certainly wasn't that. You have to build on this.
Charean, Richard Zane here filling in for Olin Buchanan this morning, and I feel like I'm burying the lead, not asking you about Mario Craver's 207 receiving yards, but I'm going to go with the guy throwing him the football because Olin has him atop his Heisman ballot after 3 weeks. The love that he's getting on the national scale, what do you make of that for Marcel through 3 weeks in 2025?
Yeah, I think we all heard about how much better he was as a thrower during the off season and their spring and everything that, led up to the season. And I think we've seen that. He's much better, much more confident. Does he need to get better? 100%, he's got to get better. There are some throws that we all remember the one that is just, he's throwing against air was at week 1 and totally missed that throw to KC. Those are throws you have to make. He's not going to have a more wide open receiver than he had in week 1 against who we play, UTSA. He's not going to have a more wide open receiver. There were some in the Notre Dame game he missed. And there's also some off-target throws. I think you see what a difference receivers make. If Johnny Manziel hadn't had Mike Evans, he probably didn't win the Heisman Trophy. Mike Evans made Johnny Manziel look really good. Ryan Swope made Johnny Manziel look really good. He had some really good receivers, and Marcel has that. He's got 2 really good receivers who make him look good. He's thrown them some passes that are off target. They're too high, they're too low, whatever the case may be. They've made those catches and made yards after the catch on those catches. But it just makes such a huge difference for receivers when the quarterback puts the ball exactly where it needs to be. Not off to the side, not low, not high, and he's making some of those throws that are, within their range to catch them, but they can't do as much with them if they would if they were right on target. So hopefully he gets better at that, putting the ball right where it needs to be. If he does that, this offense is truly going to take off, and then just misses some long throws that he should have made. But yes, through 3 weeks, you have to have him right up there on your Heisman ballot, wherever you want to put him, because he's played great. He's been the difference for this team, and you can see what a difference that a good quarterback makes with good receivers. If you didn't have those 2 receivers, I'm not sure that we don't see the same Marcel that we saw last year. They just make quarterbacks look good like Mike Evans did. And this is probably the best group of receivers and tight ends that A&M has had since Johnny, I would say, since the 2012-2013 seasons back then. Christian Kirk was really good, but, it was Christian Kirk and, so I just think that they are that good. These receivers are that good that make him look good.
Absolutely. Talking to Charean Williams here on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Charean, let's switch gears to the NFL now. The Cowboys get their first win of the season, 40-37 in overtime over the Giants. Donovan Wilson and Aggie had an interception to get the Cowboys the ball back, and they went and kicked that game-winning field goal. So just your takeaways on that game.
Yeah, they needed that. And, it looked like a loss there at the end when the Giants scored. But, that, you talk about good quarterbacks and what a difference receivers make. I think having George Pickens to go along with CeeDee Lamb has just made a huge difference for that Dallas offense. And having a true running back in Javonte Williams. Same thing with A&M, now having true running backs who are number 1 running backs back there, and you have a bunch of them, really makes a difference. So with Cowboys, it's having Javonte Williams as a true number 1 running back, and then having George Pickens, and that's made Dak look good. And I think if you start the MVP conversation, I think you've got to have Dak in that conversation. I'm not saying he's the top guy right now, but you have to have him in that conversation with the way he's played so far. And Pickens has just made a huge difference in this offense, as has Javonte Williams. But just like A&M, I think there's going to be games when they're going to have to outscore their opponents, and that was one of them, and their defense just isn't going to be able to make stops. And they made the stops when they needed to in overtime. They made 2 stops in overtime and got the ball back to the offense. The offense finally got it done, and I think that's what it's going to take for this team to win games. I was really surprised when it came out, the Vegas odds came out, and they had Dallas as an underdog this week. I think that's unless it's changed earlier this week, that's an easy bet. I just think the Cowboys are going to roll in there and beat up on the Bears. I was really surprised to see the Cowboys as an underdog in that game. I think they win that game. There's going to be some games again that they're going to have to outscore some teams, but they're playing much better offensively than they did last year. Even when they had Dak early last season, they were struggling.
All right, Charean, Aggies in the NFL time. Give us your top Texas A&M performers from Week 2 in the league, although I know Week 3 started last night with a pretty solid game between Miami and Buffalo.
Yeah, and you know, we do have Devon Achane in our top 3, so this is for Week 2, not Week 3, so he'll be considered for Week 3 after his game last night. But you mentioned Donovan Wilson, and you know, he's a captain for the Cowboys now, so I'm going to give him an honorable mention for that interception that he had against the Giants. They got the ball back in overtime. Mentioned Mike Evans, honorable mention, 5 catches, 56 yards. And we could put Nnamdi Matabuke, also known as Justin Matabuke, probably in our top 3 every single week, 1 tackle, 1 sack. But we're going to go number 3, of course, Myles Garrett. I think he's going to be in there just about every week. 5 tackles and 1.5 sacks. He's just rolling. He's the only good thing about the Browns right now. I mentioned Achane. Achane in Week 2 against the Patriots had 8 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown, 11 rushes for 30 yards. One of the only bright spots for that Dolphins offense as they struggle. And number 1, we're going to go with Edrin Cooper. 10 tackles, half a sack. He shared that with Michael Parsons. 2 quarterback hits. He's playing at elite level. I think anybody who saw him play at A&M expected this, and that's exactly how he's playing, just like he did at A&M. And I think he's going to be one of the great linebackers in this league for the next few years.
That is Charean Williams, great friend of the program. Charean, appreciate you taking time and talking to us this morning.
And good luck to your Stros this weekend.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yep, that's Charean Williams on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break on the other side. We'll bank on it. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers. Final segment of the Bro Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Nick Savage, Richard Zane.
Dude, this has gone by way too fast. So my
Really?
phone goes off.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's
Now
gone
you're
by
really like
fast.
Olin.
Yeah, sorry.
Doing a great job.
I'm just doing my best to do the impersonation. Like,
Yeah.
I just got to start talking with my hands. Maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
The lean.
I like that. It's time to bank on it. Presented by Vera Bank. Authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. I'll let you go first, Richard Zane.
No A&M football to bank on this weekend. I've already said I think A&M volleyball is going to sweep the weekend at the Texas A&M Invitational, so my bank up's going to be personal. Going to bank on a lot of emotions in the apartment at 9:10 this evening as I watch Kershaw's final start at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Very sad.
I'm banking on a pretty chalk weekend of college football. I really don't see many upsets or anything crazy going on, but Reese did point out to me that last year we were saying the same thing the week of the Missouri game. It was looked to be a pretty boring slate, but that's the weekend we got the the Vanderbilt upset over Alabama. Had all kinds of crazy stuff happen. So maybe I'm wrong.
Crushed the top 10 team.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I'm wrong, but who knows?
It'll be fun to have a quad box at some point tomorrow,
definitely.
for sure, regardless of who's on it.
Richard, I appreciate you helping me get through this first hour. And
I think it was a successful penalty kill.
I think so too. As
back to full strength.
9 o'clock hour coming up. We got SEC Mike up next. This is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers. Welcome back in TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Still waiting on SEC Mike. Once he shows up, we'll go out to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. But I'm filling in for David Nuno. He'll be back on Monday as we get ready for all things Auburn as that game approaches. But of course, going into the bye week, a little extra time to soak things up or soak up the Notre Dame win, I should say. Reese Nygren over at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I'll let you take this wherever you want to go with it. I know we got some volleyball notes. Just take it and run, whatever you want.
Before I get into volleyball, you were talking about just kind of enjoying the Notre Dame win. Last week I did some research into what has just kind of happened in the sports world between ranked road wins for the Aggies. Just a few notes. First off, I'm just going to say Marcel Reed was 10 when A&M beat Auburn. So
wow.
And since then, Alabama won 3 national titles, played in 6. Kevin Durant has been on 5 different NBA teams.
Okay.
Alex Caruso played a year and a half of college and 8 NBA seasons.
Since the last.
In between 2.
Yeah.
Tom Brady played in 4 Super Bowls, won 3,
great.
retired 2 times, and had been retired for 2.5 years. The Astros lost 92 games that 2014 year.
Yep.
And then went on like 7 ALCSs in 8 years, plus the like wild card years.
Yep.
So that's pretty much what's went on in the sports world in between non-ranked road games.
I have not even thought of it that way or seen a list like that compiled. So that's good.
I was sitting there and I was like, man, like it had been 10 years. Like, do you know how
old
much
were you in 2014?
When they won in November, I was 8, about to be 9.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm now 19.
15 years old. So I still remember that game pretty well, watching it.
Yeah.
And getting excited for the punt block and everything we saw in that game. That really kind of sealed the deal for it. Any other?
Sometimes when I need to scratch that football itch in the off season, I'll go back and watch that game just because it was like it's a big game. So back to volleyball, the number 14 Aggie volleyball team swept Southeastern Louisiana on the opening day of the Texas A&M Invitational Thursday evening at Reed Arena. 25-16, 25-15, and 25-18 were the match scores. The Maroon and White returned to Reed Arena tonight for the second day of the A&M Invitational, where they face New Hampshire with the first serve set for 6 p.m. tonight. A&M soccer fell on the road to the Auburn Tigers 1-0 after surrendering a goal in the 84th minute. Another late goal seems to doom the Aggies. The Aggies return for action Sunday at 7 p.m. where they host the number 10 Arkansas Razorbacks at Ellis Field. It is the annual Turn It Gold match to raise money for the fight against childhood cancer. So if you're looking for something to do on Sunday night, head out to Ellis Field and support that cause. Then I have a little question I want to throw at you and see what your opinion is. So I have 4 quarterbacks here, and I want you to tell me which quarterback you feel will have a better rest of 2025.
Okay, sweet, let's do it.
We'll start off with Arch Manning, and then DJ Lagway, Austin Simmons, and Cade Klubnik.
Ooh. Well, like if this kid at Ole Miss keeps playing well, like is Austin Simmons going to be the starter anymore? Like if he goes out and plays just as well as he did last time, Trinidad Chambliss, like if
he looked good.
If I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm hesitant to even make that change. Like, okay, well, it just so happened that, I know they say like, oh, you don't lose your job to injury, but like you kind of can.
Yeah, you can.
So I would say scratch Simmons off the list. I haven't seen anything from Arch Manning that tells me he's going to improve into the preseason Heisman favorite that he was hyped up to be. And the other 2 were
DJ Lagway and Cade Klubnik.
I'll go DJ Lagway.
Number 1.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up having the best season, even though he just threw 5 picks. I understand that. But, I mean, I've actually seen him play in person. back in high school. He played Rudder twice, so I've seen him play in person, not in college, but I think he's super talented. And out of what we've seen from Cade this year, I think DJ will have the best year. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Cade Klubnik would be my number one, just because he plays in the ACC, and Clemson will end up being better just naturally. I'd put DJ Lagway at number 2. I mean, he has all the tools to be a really good quarterback. He just kind of has to put it all together. I'd put Austin Simmons obviously at 4, just because he might not even be the Ole Miss starting quarterback. And then Arch Manning number 3. I mean, I'm not an arch truther, but I feel like he can't be this version of himself for the rest of the season.
Yeah, working on getting SEC Mike. He needs a new Zoom link, Cade. I don't know if you saw that. He's on it. So we'll get to SEC Mike here in 1 second. He'll be on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. I'll just give you a quick show rundown, what we're going to have coming up the rest of the show. We're going to hear from Billy Liucci's interview with Marcel Reed he did earlier this week. We'll play that in 2 parts. Probably won't get all of it in, so we'll have to, if you want to hear that, you're going to have to go check out TexAgs.com and get that. We'll hear from Billy, Seth, and Steve McKinney in the final countdown bye week. Usually in the past we haven't done final countdowns, but after a big win like we had, like A&M had, I should say, on Saturday of last week, the McKinney brothers and Billy want to come in and talk all about it, so it should be fun to see. And we'll also do our pick 6 with them, so we'll those games actually do count. And again, I really don't see any big upsets coming this week, but like you mentioned,
that's what happened last week. Like last year, week 6, everybody was like, I don't see any big upsets coming, and it was like, well, yeah, nobody sees number 1 Alabama losing to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
No, at the time, Michigan was number 10, but I think everybody kind of knew at that point that Michigan wasn't a top 10 caliber team. Obviously, A&M proved Missouri wasn't a top 10 caliber team. I also have in front of me SEC Mike's Week 4 QB power rankings, which you might probably get into with him. Where do you think he has Marcel Reed slotted?
I actually have seen it, so this would be cheating, but it's 8.
He is number 8.
And I'm trying to think where he says he goes week by week. So and I would have to pull up that list, and I'm not going to ask him about it. I mean, quarterback rankings, it's sure if that's that's fine. It doesn't
I find it
either
interesting that Ty Simpson is above Marcel Reed. That was kind of the main thing. He's high on Bo Perbula.
Yep,
and
I know a lot of people are.
Yeah, a lot of people are. He'll
get tested for the first time. Well, I don't know if you'd say Kansas necessarily was a test, but he's going to get his first SEC
his first shot at an SEC defense
this weekend. So I think we're ready to bring on SEC Mike. Little trouble with the Zoom link there, but glad we got it all squared away. SEC Mike, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me. Sorry I'm running a little late here.
You're completely fine.
Not sure what happened, but you can blame me. That's what Shane always does.
It was my fault, Mike. You're good.
That's our director, Cade Bickham, in the back. But hey, let's just jump right into it, man. Obviously, a big win for A&M. You talked a lot about it last week on what it would do for the perception of A&M, and they got it done. Whether it be, maybe you think the defense looked a little sloppy, but I mean, Marcel Reed, the receivers all played really well. Offense looked great. So just your thoughts on A&M's big win and what that does for them going forward.
Yeah, I mean, this legitimately might be the biggest win Texas A&M has had since they joined the SEC, other than perhaps the 2 wins over Alabama. I mean, I don't think that's too bold to say, and I think this is one that could be the turning point for Coach Elko and his program. And just, I think, again, a lot of season left to play, but I think the Aggies took a huge step forward to kind of killing the 8-4 narrative, because I predicted it in the preseason, and I said if they win this game, they're going to the college football playoff. I still believe that based on what I've seen. I think now you just got to take care of business at home and split the remaining 4 road games, which would be Texas, LSU, Arkansas, and I believe Missouri. So I think A&M is fully capable, and I say split. I mean, possibly they could do even better in those 4 road games, but all you got to do, I think, is split those road games, and A&M's going to the college football playoff for the first time.
Well, Mike, I think the narrative is different behind this win, and we feel it here in College Station because you mentioned like the Alabama win a few years ago with Zach Calzada. Like that was like mid-season, so there was somewhat hope. They got off to a bad start, and they went on a little run after that win, so there was some hope there. But it feels like A&M's Orange Bowl win in 2020, like that was at the end of the season. There was, you could be hopeful for next year. It's been rare that A&M has won a big non-conference game this early in the season where we can talk about what you're mentioning, the college football playoff, or like a big bowl berth coming up in the end of the season. So just, do you feel that? Do you see where I'm coming from when I mean that, or when I say that?
Oh, for sure. Now, the only thing I could kind of complain about, if we even can, after a 3-0 start, is I wish A&M was still playing, because they're playing so hot right now.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the bye, but again, Auburn is playing a very tough, physical Oklahoma team this week. So in a sense, you could slice it that maybe it is an advantage for A&M to have we won't be coming off such an emotional win. We'll have time to recover. Meanwhile, Auburn will be a little bit banged up. So it could favor A&M certainly, but I don't know about you guys, but when my team's hot, I like them to keep on playing. And A&M is just, I don't think they've come close to the ceiling that this football program has. You mentioned the defense. I think they could play a lot better. And under Coach Elko, I got to have confidence that that's going to happen. But shout out Marcel Reed. I know you guys have not been a fan of the quarterback rankings all season. He is moving up the list. Even though I picked A&M to win this game, I did not have confidence in him to score that touchdown on 4th and goal. I really didn't. I've seen this story before. And again, Coach Elko, I think he's ripping that up. I think it's a new era for Texas A&M football.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the defense. Again, a little. I mean, if you think about if they fix some of the issues they had against Notre Dame, again, they could really. I mean, if the defense played better, they could have won that game by multiple scores. And we've heard I think we've had former players in the studio this week say the exact same thing based on what they saw. So just, I mean, if Coach Elko can really square away that defense, talk a little bit about maybe how dangerous this A&M team could be.
Yeah, I really want to see them be better against the run. I know all last week I had to hear about how good Jeremiah Love is, and he is. I mean, for good reason. But then we had the other running back. I think his name's Price. I mean, Even he was making plays. And this is now 3 games is a little bit of a trend here, where this has been somewhat of an issue for Texas A&M. And again, we go back to those big time road games that A&M's got coming up. Missouri they're lights out on the ground. That's going to be a huge issue. Good news is LSU seemingly can't run the football. So maybe not such a big issue in that one, but Auburn, again, a lot of the goodwill is going to be gone if you turn around and lose to Auburn in your next game at home. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we'll learn a heck of a lot more about Auburn this week. But they can really run the football, 10 rushing touchdowns, and Jackson Arnold's brought a lot of dynamic running ability to Auburn's offense from the quarterback position. So A&M's really got to get that cleaned up. They've got the talent. Cassius Howell, I mean, he has emerged as one of the best defensive linemen this season in the SEC. I love the linebackers, but they got to put it all together. I love the fact that Elko is throwing chairs over here because he ain't happy with it, nor should he be. But again, I got all the faith in him to correct it on the defensive side of the football.
Let's talk about a few more Week 3 games, and we'll turn the page to Week 4. I believe, if I remember correctly, you called Vandy over South Carolina, and, I mean, they pulled it off. South Carolina obviously limited when Lenora Sellers goes out with an injury, but, I mean, Vanderbilt won that game handily.
Yeah, I did. I picked Vanderbilt to win. Never in a million years, though, did I see him blowing the Gamecocks out. So, I mean, it was a dominant performance. This is a new era of Vanderbilt. You got to hand it to Clark Lee. I know Diego Pavia gets all the attention, as he should. He's playing really, really well. But Clark Lee and that coaching staff, I mean, I think they may be the most underrated coaching staff in the SEC with what they've – and heck, I think they would have had a better team quicker, but – what happened was they didn't have the NIL and they went out and recruited a bunch of really good players, and then the rest of the SEC and Colorado stole all their players. So this is like a reboot of Vanderbilt, and this is a legitimate team. I said in the preseason it wouldn't stun me if they go 8-4. I think they may even exceed that. We'll see what it looks like week in, week out in the conference, but the style of offense they play, they have a defense now. Vanderbilt's going to be a tough out for, I think, every conference team they play this season.
And I've heard a lot of people say Tennessee was impressive in that loss. Joey Aguilar looked good. So what were your takeaways from the Tennessee UGA game? Obviously, Tennessee probably should have won that game if they don't commit that false start and move that field goal back. But, I mean, they were still impressive even though they ended up dropping that game.
Yeah, as a Tennessee grad, that still hurts. Thanks for bringing that up. But, yeah, I mean, this was literally the best they've ever looked against a Kirby Smart defense and still couldn't get it done. But is what it is. Now that they have an offense again, their defense is falling apart. But Joey Swagular, as we call him on Rocky Top, I mean, he looks like $1 million. Once again, Heupel's got a quarterback, and when he does, it just makes for one terrific offense. And I'm still kind of marveled at how well they're able to push the ball down the field and beat Georgia's defensive back. So concern for both teams really on the defensive side of the football. But I think we learned a lot about Tennessee. Again, I'm not a big fan of moral victories, but I moved Tennessee up in my rankings after that performance because I think they could play with anybody in this conference. And I know you didn't really ask me about Georgia, but I think we learned a lot about Gunner Stockton, their quarterback, because I think the narrative going in was, we'll make Gunner beat you. He can't do it. And, buddy, he did it. So if he can perform that well on the road, heck, they don't have many challenging road games at Georgia. The most challenging one left is Auburn. I think Georgia's the team to beat in the conference right now.
Let's talk about this week's games. OU Auburn, like you mentioned, us here in College Station are hoping for a 7 overtime, real physical game for the Auburn Tigers. But just how do you see this one playing out? A really interesting quarterback matchup in this one.
Yeah, and man, I thought Texas fans were bad. Oklahoma fans are they're up there. I mean, they are uber confident. I mean, you can't even say this is going to be a competitive ball game. They get offended by that statement, but still, Oklahoma has looked like $1 million. I think John Mateer he's probably better than advertised, which is hard to believe because he was getting some serious hype this summer. But he's looked great. But one concern I do have for Oklahoma in this matchup is their offensive line. They're pretty banged up, and it's still a work in progress. They're playing a lot of young talent. They haven't faced a conference opponent. I think Michigan does have a really good defense, and they wore them down. So good first test that they passed against Michigan, but I think it's a different story playing Auburn. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, much closer than expected, but I do like Oklahoma to win at home. I don't think there's going to be anybody more motivated, though, to get this win than Mr. Jackson Arnold, who they ran off last fall. So, I'm not completely sold on Auburn yet. But I think it's fair to say that one of these teams may get exposed on Saturday, but I do think it'll be a really, really close game.
Interesting prediction put in for the Florida-Miami game. You got the Gators pulling the upset, so talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's almost comical at this point with their performance on the field, and man, they really could have beaten LSU, and I think they should have. Minus 5 interceptions thrown by DJ Lagway. So, I mean, if we could just get that down to like 1 or 2, I think they've got a real shot to beating Miami. I get it. Miami's a touted team, top 5 team. Carson Beck looks like $1 million early in the season, but I truly don't think there's much of a difference between what Miami is and what Florida is, minus mistakes. Florida has only given up, I believe, 2 touchdowns via their defense in the first 3 weeks of the season. So they've got a really good defense themselves. They're killing themselves. They scored, I think the number is 4 touchdowns that have been called back due to penalty on offense for the Gators. So we got to clean that up, stop turning the ball over. Jaden Ball, their running back, no one's noticing because they're throwing interceptions and they're looking sloppy on the field. But Jaden Ball is a really, really, really good running back. Rely on him. Don't ask DJ Lagway to throw it I think he threw it 47 times against LSU. Why in the world you're going to have that guy throwing the football that much when he's making mistakes, I'll never know. But I don't have a lot of faith in Mario Cristobal as a head coach either. So this is like two of the worst head coaches going head-to-head. Give me Billy Napier to save his job at least for a week.
And then last game here for you. Trinidad Chambliss expected to make his second start for Ole Miss. If you're Lane Kiffin and he plays well, do you roll with him or are you going back to Austin Simmons?
Yeah, I mean, that's fascinating, isn't it? Because they've invested heavily in Austin Simmons. And I thought he looked like $1 million in the opener against Georgia State, but ever since then he's kind of been fading. And I know he's injured, so maybe that's not fair to him. But what I saw from him in the Kentucky game, I don't think you can win a lot of conference games with him as your quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, it's great to be 3-0. Potentially, I've got Ole Miss winning big this week against Tulane. But if Trinidad plays well, do we have a quarterback controversy? I don't know. That's going to be fascinating to see. I do really credit, though, the Ole Miss coaching staff. Last week, I picked Arkansas to beat Ole Miss. I thought with a backup quarterback, give that edge. I really like Taylon Green, and the offense did look really good. The problem was the defense was awful. But what the defense did at Arkansas, they said, well, we'll force Trinidad to beat us. And, man, did he ever. He looked really, really good. So, I think that was a masterclass coaching job by Lane Kiffin and his coaching staff, and I think that continues for another week. So that is a huge storyline to watch. If Trinidad has a great game, I think we will have a quarterback competition in Oxford.
That is SEC Mike on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Mike, I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's SEC Mike. We'll hit a break here. On the other side, we'll get to Billy's interview with Marcel Reed, part 1 and 2. We'll break it up in between segments. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers.
Hey friends, David Nuno here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
All right, welcome back. He is Marcel Reed. You guys know him, introduced himself to college football world on Saturday night. I'm Billy Liucci. Marcel, I guess just start with the way that game went on a late Saturday night, flying back. What time did y'all even get home, by the way?
Like 3.
3 a.m., get home. And just kind of all the buzz that victory created, not just here locally, but nationally. Do you feel like the bye week is coming at a good time? Probably shouldn't ask you that, because we know the answer to that. But do you feel like for the team, the bye week's coming at a good time for y'all to kind of get back to work and get better?
Yeah, I think it's at a pretty good time. I mean, anytime you have a bye week after a hard-fought game is a good time. But just because that was a big game and then we won and going into SEC play, I think this is the perfect time to have the first bye.
And how are you feeling? Because I know everybody saw you, leave the Utah State game.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Elko pretty much all week just said, hey, he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you were playing in some pain. How did you feel? Because that was a very physical football game, not just for you, but for I think the whole both sides really.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. That was a game that I had to kind of thug it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And thankfully I did. But yeah, this bye week, like I said, is at a good time. Got time to rest up and get treated. But it wasn't anything too bad. It was just kind of taking a couple blows at the same spot.
Yeah.
But we're back.
Yeah, well, and you know what, you guys, that football game, I felt like you matched Notre Dame physically, which, last year it was like a war of attrition and they pulled away in the end. That wasn't the case this year. And then you guys, I felt like you hit more big plays in that game than I've seen in an A&M football game in a long time. And I know y'all have been expecting that all off season.
Mm-hmm.
You've worked with the receivers, you know the running game, you know your O-line, you know yourself. How good does it feel, though, to go out against a team that you played last year and couldn't do it against, and to go out there and not just do it once or twice, but repeatedly move the ball, score points, hang 41 on the road in that environment? How I guess, satisfying and rewarding is that to put everything you did in practice into a game against a quality opponent?
Yeah, I mean, just from what we have now, we expected this. And, we've been practicing really hard this whole off season, knowing that this is going to be, the game we want back week 3. And, we got a man coverage team what we were looking for. And, so they kind of split it up a little bit, played a little bit of cover 3 too. But, whenever they got in a man, we kind of took advantage of it. We have the guys to do it. And, you can just get the ball in their hands and let them go play. But, it's not magic that we put up 40. We work for this. So just really excited that everybody else got to see what we already knew. And, there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, I felt like, Marcel, you sat back quietly this whole offseason. I don't know that you do. Just knowing you, I don't know how much you actually follow this stuff. But did you read a lot during the offseason, see a bunch of the Twitter stuff, or are you just a college kid hanging out with your friends and practicing football?
I'm just a college kid hanging out with my friends and playing football. I mean, I made a post on Instagram prior to the season, and it was a picture of me in like my Little League uniform. Caption was, same game you've been playing since you were 5. And that's just how I think. Every time I go play a game, it's me going out there to have fun. I know what I'm doing because I've been coached well, and I trust in my training. But, I really don't think about anything outside of me and the team just because none of those things matter.
Yeah.
When you go out there, it's just the 11 guys on the field, and you got to do what you're coached. And everybody knows what we're doing, so we're just out there having fun at the end of the day.
I want to restart here and start with the touchdown, the game winner. First of all, is that your first true game-winning touchdown pass in football, or do you have them in I'm talking about final minute or final play, whatever?
I had a shovel pass in high school. I think my sophomore year, actually, to Zach Herbstreit.
Okay.
Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit's son. I had a shovel pass to him against Christian Brothers away. So
technically, it's a pass.
Yeah, technically it's before a pass. So
It counts.
That was one of the game winners that I've had before, but nothing like this on a big stage.
So take me through that play in your head when that's called and y'all break the huddle.
That was part one of Billy's interview with Marcel Reed. It's a lengthy interview. He sat down with him for about 30 minutes, so we're obviously constrained with a little bit of time. We'll get to part two on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Schulers. Say that one more time. Welcome back in. TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner Jewelers. We'll get to part 2 with Billy Liucci and Marcel Reed. They sat down earlier this week. Again, a lengthy conversation. If you want to hear the full thing, go check it out on TexAgs.com. But here's part 2 of Marcel Reed and Billy Liucci.
Receiving cores, pass catchers I've seen around here prior to you getting here, right? Like that don't help a quarterback out or that regularly drop passes. But as you're sitting there deciding when and when not to let it rip, it must be really nice. And I heard you say, I don't know if it's to Will Johnson or Monaco, that Nate might have the best hands on the team. Like he's in that discussion too. So like to have guys that can catch like that, what does that do for you as a QB in terms of just, hey, I'm going to throw it because they're going to catch it?
Yeah, it makes my life a lot easier. And, KC's told me all the time, just put it anywhere. And he's lived up to that. Every time I put it somewhere and it's not such a great spot, he still manages to make the catch. So, like I said, it makes my life a lot easier. And, I can trust my team that, if the ball is anywhere around them, they're going to make the play and we're going to move the chains.
Terry Bussey is a guy that if I go back to every game, he's done something. He had a massive catch and run the other night. Could have had to play the game where your heroics wouldn't even been needed. He almost, took back a kick 100 yards, in crunch time there. I think he also had a 50-yard kick return call back, maybe against Utah State to start the game. Like, he's been really explosive. Do you feel like there's going to be one of those games where we're talking about number 2 having that Craver Concepcion impact?
I mean, there's plenty of season left. And just with the production that 1 and 7 have made, defenses are probably going to try to shut them down. But what they don't realize is that we have other weapons aside from them.
Yeah.
And Terry and Ashton, I mean, those guys are sleepers. Coming into the season, I probably thought Ashton was probably going to get the ball a lot more than he has been so far just because of his explosiveness. I mean, he can get off the ball like no other, get behind defenses, and he's kind of our shot guy because of how fast he is and how, he opens it up for everybody else. And then Terry, I mean, he's over reliable. I mean, you saw in the game, I got to him on my last progression read on a curl backside, and he just happened to be wide open, and he's been there in every single one of those situations. Even when I go back and watch the film, he's always in a spot where he could get the ball, at the end of the progression or even before. And sometimes I've missed him, but Terry's going to have a big game eventually, and count on Ashton to have a big game eventually too.
And like you said, people outside of just that follow this team every day, I don't think there's going to be those games where the people around the country are talking. Finally, offensively, we can't without talking about Le'Veon Moss. And 3 carries in the first game, 10 in the second. You could feel it building up to this. And in a game when you got a guy like Jeremiah Love on the other side, we knew the run game had to be there. It had to travel with y'all. Moss plus that offensive line, I feel like it's a tough ask for anyone to stop him. You talk about somebody that doesn't want to get tackled. Yeah,
I mean, we make jokes all the time when we're playing NCAA. If you're using A&M, he has 2 kids. I mean, like, this dude's hungry. He's playing for something else. But I mean, it's real life. This guy runs hard.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be on the other side trying to tackle 8. I mean,
like number 9 on the goal line.
Helmet flying off and everything. Yeah, I would not want to try to tackle Le'Veon. I mean,
you took a big hit down there. Tell me, like, how do you bounce up? Like, was that? I'm pretty sure, was that linebacker that was safety?
Linebacker, linebacker.
A linebacker that came and did that. You just braced for it, and did you know that one was coming, or did you not see that one coming? Because it was kind of those 2 guys.
I didn't think it was going to be that square up. He kind of, number 6 kind of got my legs. I think that was Christian Gray. He got my legs a little bit, and then 34 came and hit me. I kind of really didn't see him until last second. I was just trying to go off of Nate's back and get in the zone. I mean, it was only like 1 yard, but, I mean, that guy flew from middle of the field all the way over to me and put me on my back a little bit. But
it felt like what I liked seeing about it, not just one when your quarterback is selling out like that. I think it always makes teams better. But I just felt like you guys went into an SEC environment, played an SEC football team that's just happens to not play in the league.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was a great early test, and you guys were pushed to the limit, and you passed it. How can y'all carry those? Is it just, hey, now we've been there, done that? Is it a momentum thing? Like, if you guys could play Saturday, would you be wanting to play? Bumps and bruises aside, like, are y'all like, let's get back out there as soon as we can?
Yeah, I mean, if it's on the schedule, we got to play it.
Yeah.
And you get a chance to go out there and play football on another Saturday. You can't take for granted those opportunities. So, if we had a game this week, we'd be perfectly fine with playing a game this week.
I'm just saying, are y'all like, I feel like you guys momentum right now in terms of like, damn, let's get out there as soon as possible.
I don't think it's going to stop us at all. Whenever there's a game, we're excited to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I mean, Notre Dame's a real good team that just doesn't happen to be in the conference, and that definitely builds momentum for us. But it's not going to take away any momentum just because we have a bye week.
Yeah.
We're still going to be ready to play whenever the ball's spotted, and we're going to do the same thing we've been doing.
Coach Elko's speech, I guess that was that Friday before y'all left. That felt like you guys took that to heart. You played like that. Like, we got to go take this now. What does that mean for y'all just culturally to go on the road, win a high profile game like that when you know whether you don't know it like all the fans do, but you know the recent history.
Yeah.
And to go break that and kind of get that out of there, but more importantly, just go play like great football on the road.
I mean, we've been preparing for this one. Like, I mean, Coach Elko even said in his speech, I mean, there's been so much, disrespect kind of put on our name, and we weren't going to stand for it anymore.
It's been like a quiet disrespect. It's like not all in your, it's just kind of like back burner.
Yeah. And we owed them a game. I mean, last year wasn't what we wanted, but we definitely owed them one. And, what a better place to do it than on their home field in South Bend. So
where can y'all get better offensively? We're 3 weeks in, and you know this better than anybody. You're the guy to ask, probably you or Coach Klein. But where do y'all get better?
I feel like just kind of being a little bit more disciplined. I mean, there's a consistency thing when it comes to the amount of penalties we had. Some route busts or me reading the wrong side or not making the right read based off of a coverage.
We'll hit a break here. More to come here on TexAgs Live, so stick with us. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Garner Jewelers. Back here on TexAgs Live, we're presented by David Garner's Jewelers here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio, and we got a fun segment here. Barrett Hanselka and Luke Evangelos are in studio with me, and Barrett is a amazing artist, like photorealistic pictures, paintings that he does, and Luke, I know you know a little bit about him and his artwork, so I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, he went pretty viral last year for a couple paintings. The main one that I saw at first that I think Barrett would agree kind of changed it from like him reaching out to the athletes to the athletes reaching out to him was this Will Lee picture. And this painting is absolutely incredible. The detail on it on the left there is unbelievable. Barrett, would you say that was the one that kind of changed and then kind of blew up for you?
Yeah, for sure. This one, for me at least, it was most realistic in my opinion. I think just the close-up and how like focused, I guess, Will Lee was in it. And it was really the first time I wanted to make a more active presence on Instagram and TikTok and sort of everything. And it definitely blew up. I had a bunch of players ask for a bunch of stuff after that. And but yeah, it's definitely for sure kicked me off to more of an actual business versus kind of just a hobby.
Yeah. How long will one of these paintings take you? And I mean, you still got school and you got your internship and everything else going on during it.
Yeah, so typically it's about like 20 to 30 hours for each painting. That's for a 24 by 36. And if I don't really have anything going on, I can get it done in about like a week and a half, 2 weeks. But with school and depending on how hard my classes are with exams, they'll take a lot longer. I know last semester was pretty tough class-wise, and it took about maybe 3 to 4 weeks per painting just because how much I was doing other than that.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one?
Probably either the Will Lee one or the Marcel one from the LSU game. Just because those were probably my two favorite players. Especially with Marcel reaching out to me and asking for one was really cool. I've been an A&M fan my whole life, and then a quarterback asks you for something that you do is pretty cool.
That's incredible. And it's not just A&M athletes. You did some of Ryan Williams that went viral as well over at Alabama. Yeah, so the other schools kind of started off actually with the Will Lee one as well. So Will Lee, since he's a transfer from K-State, one of his former teammates, Jace Brown, which is a wide receiver there, he asked for one. And he kind of put me in contact with Ryan as well. So over the summer I did 2 for Ryan and then 1 for Jace, which is really cool. And I've had those really went viral just because they have a kind of more of a presence outside of College Station and those fans itself. So now I'm getting more from other schools and even a couple NFL players asking me for stuff. That's sick. Go ahead.
How long do you think it's going to be till a high school kid asks you for a commit painting? How about that? Like they get commit graphics. Like that's cool, but what about a commit painting?
One of the Oregon commits has asked me for one.
Nice.
Same with the Alabama commit, but I think he's going to wait till at least spring practice to get some action shots or something. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously you can't do all these you're a full-time student as well. You got other stuff going on. So you've got a wait list backed up for multiple months at this point. Has anyone ever tried to pay you extra to try and skip that wait list?
Yeah, it happens a lot more often than I thought it would initially. Just the more busy I get, the more viral I get, more people ask, and the bigger the wait list gets. So it started with Will Lee's first one. I had a bunch of orders come in at once, and I did that one in January of last year, and it got down to April or May. And since Willie liked the first one so much, he wanted a second one at K-State. I was like, it's probably going to be May. But since he kind of made me go viral at first, he offered to pay a little bit more. I was like, I can get you in a little bit more. But since then, I have not really had anybody able to cut the line anymore just because how busy I am.
Yeah.
Well, Barrett, let the people know where can they add to that wait list. If they want to pick up some paintings or a print or something, where can they find your work and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so the easiest way to look at my stuff or buy some prints is on my website, which is bhfineart.shop. That also has the links to all my socials and with TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Right now, I'm just doing commissions for athletes since I'm in school. I can't really do everyone, so I'm just going to stick with athletes at least for now. But you can able to get different size prints. These are the standard size I do, but I can do different ranges like that. But But yeah, that's the easiest way to get some.
Yeah.
If you're an Aggie fan and you're listening on the radio or something, definitely go check out his socials, and it would be a good addition to any collection if you collect that kind of stuff. So Barrett, appreciate you coming in. That's really cool, man. And good luck to you in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
We'll hit a break here. On the other side, we'll have the McKinney brothers and Billy Liucci in studio for the final countdown. So keep it right here. This is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Garner Jewelers. Welcome in. Final countdown. That's presented by La Casa Tequila, raised in Aggieland and rooted in the SEC. Got the McKinney brothers with me. Billy Liucci still en route, I'm assuming.
He'll be here shortly.
He'll be here shortly. And gentlemen, what a fun week it's been, especially being able to not worry about another game coming up and just being able to soak up the Notre Dame win a little bit longer. So
no kidding.
I guess just initial thoughts on the big win. I know we'll deep dive into it, but how does it feel to come home with that win?
Oh, man, you got to soak it up while you can, right? I mean, it's just an unbelievable week for the Aggies that Saturday night. Being up there, getting to experience it was just one of the greatest games I've ever been to.
I'm a little jealous. Seth got to be there in person.
It was awesome, man. Great. I mean, it was the full mill deal, man. The Notre Dame experience, touchdown Jesus, the Golden Dome, the Grotto, all that stuff, man. It was just a really cool experience, and then to go out there and just have just an epic game, man, back and forth. And I was like, this is unbelievable. It started out obviously not the way we wanted it, but from that point forward, after about like 3 or 4 drives or something like that, it was nonstop action and just a blast. And then to come out the winner was just unbelievable. It won't be topped. There's no way on earth that'll be topped for a road game.
Yeah, we said that after LSU, and we said it after Alabama.
I'm talking about the
now
road game
again.
Home game. I mean, I don't necessarily like go to a lot of road games, but I went to that one on purpose. And
well, that was a good. You picked a good one to go to, because I'll tell you what, we've watched a lot of A&M road games that ended very poorly over the last forever. And watching that game, the way it started at least, even in the first quarter, you were kind of like, oh my God, here we go. Well, could we have a worse start? You get a punt blocked for a touchdown on the first series. We're down, 2 scores in the first quarter. And then you just saw the offense. Right. Well, you saw them answer it on the big play.
Yeah.
But then you just see them just time after time come out there and just answer the call. Go down and score when you absolutely had to score to keep pace with those guys. So, I mean, what can you say? There's not much else to say, but it was an amazing performance by both teams, really. I mean, both teams played a great game. It came down to the last play, and what a memorable last play. I mean, honestly, I'll remember that play for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's going to go down in history as one of A&M's greatest plays that you'll see on repeat. Mm-hmm. Probably see it a few times next week versus Auburn in the hype reel before the team comes out, I'm sure.
But you know what I really came out of that game with was that not did we just go on the road and win a huge game against a really good opponent, but we looked like a playoff team. We looked like a team that's ready to go compete on the national stage for a championship. The grit they played with, the back and forth, the defense stepped up when they needed to, the offense stepped up when they needed to. That's what you got to have in a playoff team.
And then the thing that I noticed early in watching it was their defense. Notre Dame's defense was bringing the funk, man. They were blitzing like crazy.
They were,
and I was like, man, this is some real football going on out in front of me right here. And then we got in control, and they understood very quickly that they just can't do that because we have way too much talent,
too much.
And
speed.
So they stopped that because that was at first they were getting to us, and then all it took was a few connections, and they were like, we're done, we're out of that. And so the rest of the night, man, we just displayed our athletes the way they need to be displayed, and Marcel was operating efficiently, man. It was just phenomenal, every second of it.
Yeah. Mr. Liucci, good morning.
Mr. Nick, how are you?
Good.
Marcel came in the other day, and he said something that, he said it in a wasn't an arrogant way at all. It wasn't demeaning to Notre Dame at all. He said, if we would have hit on a couple of the plays that were there, we could have scored 60.
Dude, and he could have had like 550 yards.
But if you think about how, first of all, Notre Dame should have had 33, and they had 40, the block punt.
Yeah.
And really, there was a complete bust on the wheel route
to
Love. And then there was a trick play that got them.
Yep.
And those things happen in the course of a game, but you could have seen where Notre Dame could have scored a lot less.
Yeah.
They could have scored 23 in that game, 24. The Aggies, you could easily
2
more touchdowns. easily, if not 3. I mean, there was the one play.
That's some service right there.
That's awfully.
I don't remember anybody taking my order.
That's awfully brown. Look at that. That's like
a lot of
straight cream.
That's the cream you put in it.
Oh, pardon me.
You did that, sir.
I did. No, but like A&M, like there was a pass to Concepcion early that could have been a long touchdown, and then he made a great adjustment where he probably should have caught. He would tell you he should have caught it, but it was only after a great adjustment. There was a period there that looked like 6. There was the overthrow that Marcel said, like that's 97.
90 black.
And then a drive later was, I think a drive later was an black. But I mean, forget about the misses, all the connections and the runs after catch and the throws Marcel made. But they would be the first ones to tell you we could have done more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so exciting. And you talk about a playoff team and stuff, and the whole country's saying that now.
Yeah.
It's not us. So later on in the year, if they make it, if they don't make it, and everybody's going, these idiots after what? It's not us. It's the whole country.
No.
It's everyone else covering college football. You won't see a playoff field right now without A&M in it. I think everybody's getting a little ahead of themselves because I see that defense.
Yeah.
And to me, I see a defense that gave up 33. And the last time they were on the field, they let a team go 12 plays, 65 yards for a touchdown. I see Auburn and Jackson Arnold, Mississippi State, and Shapin and those receivers. I see Auburn's receivers. I'm not going to completely throw out Lagway yet, but that looks bad right now. But you got Lagway and Arch, who don't look good, but could when you play them. But then you've got Sellers. You've got Nussmeier. You've got Taylon Green in Arkansas. You've got Pribula in Missouri. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, there's some really good, Ahmad Hardy, the running back that went for 250 this week. This defense has to get so much better before I'm going to think playoff. But I thought they did more good things on Saturday than they did in the first 2 games combined. And they did enough that it gave me reason for optimism to go, Seth, you were a part of a team that was probably way worse defensively early in the season. And then you guys fixed some things during a bye week. And you played Oklahoma State in the red, white, and blue game, held them to 6 points. Then like a week later, I think you beat Notre Dame. Went on to have a really good defense that year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to get more excited, and I'm not comparing them to 2019 LSU, 2019 LSU, the first few games, the defense was an issue. It was like they almost lost to Texas and Austin in a shootout. I think Ellinger had 4 or 5 touchdowns in that game, and it looked like they'd have to just outscore everyone. But as the year went on, they got a little better, and then they kind of hit a turning point. And that defense figured out exactly how they had to play to let that offense win games for them. And they were great by the end of the year. So there's definitely hope, and they showed me enough Saturday to be hopeful. But before I start deciding whether games are wins and losses, I just got to see, hey, or maybe just defend your home field for 3 weeks and look up and mentally we just think we can't be beat.
It's a lot easier to watch this team and be very, very confident when you know we've got that offense. And we do. That's not a fluke.
Yeah.
That's who we are, man. That offense is real. And I think that our defense can come around. I think we can do a few things and make some changes to get that right. And we were on the cusp against they're Notre Dame and they're very good. Don't act like they're not.
Yeah.
And so we're on the cusp of doing something really good on defense. We're not there yet, but I think we can get there easily enough. I mean, Des Ricks, like he put him as the number 1 guy on that list to be the headhunter on that defense to get everything going.
I loved Steve's guy, DJ Hicks, who was here yesterday, and that defensive interior, I thought,
played
took
his
a
best
huge
game
step forward. All 3, like him, Regis, Onyeta.
Regis was my freak of the week.
But you know what? You know what's the difference too in this team in general is that we got a quarterback, man.
Yeah.
We got a dude at quarterback that knows how to move on to the next play. He can throw a bad pass, come back the next play, and hit a guy across the middle for a 20-yard gain.
Yeah.
And that type of mentality at quarterback is invaluable because you're going to get into some situations.
Shoot or shoot.
You can't be afraid to take your shots. And he seems to have that mentality. I don't know if he's always had it, but he's definitely seemed to have it now. And when you have weapons like we do at receiver and even tight end, that type of mentality in a passing game is going to be extremely dangerous to anybody you play.
Steve, maybe we've got the college edition of what Steve played with in Indy. Not Peyton Manning and Marcel Reed couldn't be more different. But I'm talking about these skill guys. Edgerrin
y'all
James,
did have some dudes, man.
Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, and Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we got 3 Hall of Famers at running back, but I'm saying receivers that are better than any DBs they play against,
right.
And you know that going in every week.
And
Notre Dame,
a running back that's
beast.
one of the best in the NFL / one of the best in the college football. And I think that's what Le'Veon Moss is. I really do.
We got weapons
He's a grown
galore,
man, but when you give him the ball, he's getting you a yard.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is not getting tackled for a loss. It's just not happening.
And what he did on the goal line to that number 9, I mean, just waylaid that guy, dude.
Ooh.
It made me look at that game and go like, dude, we win 10 games last year if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I saw.
I don't disagree. I mean, we know it's 9, a minimum of 9. I would still love to see. I said something to somebody the other day, and you know, Texas fans can disagree if they do.
Oh, they will.
They're ridiculous. Like 4th and 1 to start the game. I mean, Moss has I think it's 5 or 8 carries in his career. See how I included you there?
No, thank you.
5 or 8 carries in his career for lost yardage in his career. So magically in that 1 4th down to start the game against Texas on the first drive, you were just going to assume he's going to get taken down for a loss? No. I think they get that and they get points on that first drive, 3 or 7. They were already in field goal range. And at the end of the game, look, Edgerrin James himself was not going to score on that 4th down play. Did you play with Arian Foster?
No, I missed him.
I met him at the bar stool the other day. I didn't want to name drop Steve. I'm glad I didn't.
You're like, who's that?
Who the hell's that? But he's not Edgerrin James, Arian Foster. None of them would have scored on that play.
No.
But people forget we had 2nd down, 3rd down, and 4th down.
True.
I bet he would have scored on one of the 3.
Yeah.
That's a different ball game. So I don't care about that now. I care about now, and I care about the 3 touchdowns he had Saturday. When Notre Dame had to settle for a couple of shorter field goals, A&M didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Their field goals were from longer range. When they got in there, they punched it in, and it was because of Le'Veon Moss.
Amen.
Yeah, A&M was, I think, on the year, their red zone offense has been really good. 9 touchdowns to 1 field goal.
Wow.
So they've been able to get into the end zone whenever
That's
they
huge.
need.
That's
So-
such a big deal.
Let's hit our first break here just to stay on the clock. On the other side, we'll dive further into the Notre Dame win. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Garner Jewelers.
Everyone, David Nuno here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because
People trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em.
Welcome back into TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers. It's the final countdown presented by La Casa, breaking down mule deer here on the show. Guys, I wanted to get your take on the bye week, the timing of the bye week. McGee and Swope were in here yesterday talking about they would have probably preferred the Aggies to keep playing, but I mean, I'm not a former player, very obviously by looking at me. Is the rest good, or when you're hot, and you want to keep playing?
Yeah, I would probably agree. I mean, to me, this is it's great as a fan because now we get to celebrate this win for a little while longer. But you know, as a player or thinking about what's probably best for the team, ideally, it really just depends on their attitude this week. Like, did they come in this week and were like feeling really good about themselves, or did the coaches really hammer them down and make them feel like they lost during the week of practice? because that's kind of the mentality you need, man. When you're playing this good, you don't want to let up even one little bit, man.
I trust Elko in this one.
Yeah.
Like, I think he knows. And look, if you know him or if you don't know him and you listen to him, to the media, and I think to the media, he scales back a little bit, but he looks at his football team with a very critical eye. Yeah. He is certainly not a
sunshine pumper.
Get ahead of yourself. And he's more the other way. Like, God, we got things that we're probably like, man, we look good. Like, no, we'll get beat if we do that next week. He's that guy. So I imagine that will.
That's good.
And that's good. That's what you've got to have when you've got, like, your defense doing what, I mean, like, he could get on the defense all day for allowing 40 points, or 33 points, whatever. That, like, that's a nonstop issue. The special teams issues that we had, the missed field goal and things like that. I mean, there are plenty of things for him to stay angry about, which is not angry. You know what I'm talking about. Stay on them and make it hard week. And hopefully that happened, but I certainly don't mind it. I mean, you got to have the bye week at some point in time, and I would say that it's a good bye week after a big, huge win over Notre Dame. We get some guys back and healthy, and dinged up that were hurt in the previous two, or dinged up in the previous two games at like UTSA and whoever it was. I can't even remember at this point. Utah State. But I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, ideally, you just want to keep rolling, but it's definitely a good bye week for sure.
Yeah, I think it's timed up well. And look, the guys are off this weekend. They practice this week. I think that's when you go that route that you're talking about, and then you give them an off week and say, hey, when you guys get back, we reconvene. Whether I'm assuming it'd be Monday, like a normal week. When we reconvene Monday, like, it's freaking go time. Like, I would say, like, things now we have to practice that much harder, and it's SEC play. Like, these are what really matter.
It's a new season.
Yeah, you do that whole thing, and I think coming off a bye week, playing at home. Look, everybody in South Bend that I talked to said that was the best environment they can remember there. Well, part of that is it was their first big game it was their first home game. It was their first big game at home. I think this environment's going to be beyond electric Saturday at 2:30. But then really, though, when you look at what Auburn, the schedule is A&M's friend these next few weeks. When you look at Auburn, they have to go up to Norman. Very emotional game for Jackson Arnold. That OU defense, I don't know how I feel about them as a team this year. I know they look a lot better, but I know their defense is physical and they'll hit you. So Auburn's in for a physical football game, 4 quarters, while A&M's off their feet. And then a week after that, Mississippi State comes in after they play Tennessee. Not for sure, but probably handed their first loss the game before that. Florida comes in after who they play? LSU, Miami, Texas, and then A&M. And then even after that, you go to Arkansas. They lost, but they're kind of feeling good about themselves right now. They got Memphis, then they got Notre Dame, and then Tennessee. The schedule is kind to A&M these next 4 weeks. 3 at home, a road game against a team that's going to have been through a lot. Like, it's now is the time, and that's why another reason why I thought that Notre Dame game
definitely
was so
flips.
To be
it definitely flips.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to. Every week's a new season. You got to go 1-0. You can't start thinking about what's happening with the other team. When you're on a championship team and a championship run, like we could potentially be on, it really has to be that not even next game, next practice. Like, it has to be every day we're going out there to get better. We're not here to have fun, win some games, get a lot of hype on social media. Like, our goal has to be to go win a championship. And the only way you do that is you got to lock in every single day in practice. I remember my second year in Indianapolis, and we went 13-3 that year after going 3-13 the year before.
Oh, wow.
And we ended up getting beat in the second round to Tennessee, who went on to the Super Bowl. But that year, our practices from week 1 to week 16 was like we were going into the Super Bowl.
Really?
We practiced so physical, so hard. It was like you were a gladiator going to war every day at practice. That was the mentality we had. And Jim Mora, he's no stranger to physicality, but I'm gonna tell you, it showed up in the game.
Yeah.
It definitely paid off because we were so mentally tough and physical that no matter the situation in every game, we believed we were going to win. And the year before, it was the exact opposite mentality.
That's a cool anecdote, Steve. I do think they probably gave you all dead legs for the playoffs. You tired out.
No question.
I'm kidding. That was a great. That was a great Tennessee team.
The truth is that's the only time we changed.
Oh, really?
When we got because we had the bye week. And guess what? It was long season, but instead of going out there and putting pads on,
week 16.
Yeah, we rested guys week 16. We started putting the little soft shells on in practice instead of full pads, and then we go out and lose. So there's an anecdote.
Yeah,
don't change what's working.
Well, and that's where I was going before I made that crack. I think this week, Auburn next week will tell me everything I need to know about the maturity and the mentality of this team because you don't know it until you really see it. So, what we saw against Notre Dame was poise in the moment, composure, a fight, terrific willingness to battle and not let the negative drag you down and just keep getting up off the mat and swinging. And we learned a lot, I think, about this football team. And I think I already knew that about Marcel, but we learned it about the team because they lost some of those games. They lost to USC last year. They lost to Auburn. South Carolina pulled away from them in the second half. A lot of those things we didn't see. Notre Dame pulled away from them in the second half. All of that changed on Saturday. So I checked a lot of boxes for what is this team about. I think next Saturday, what you can check is, damn, they won a big game, they had a bye, and they came out and looked as good or better in beating Auburn. Man, that would tell me, then I would go, okay, now I can add mature, very mature, mature and focused to that list.
Well, you could take the confidence that they got from last week. That's going to carry, man. So I really feel like when a team goes out there and they know that when the defense, for instance, goes out there and they make a mistake or something like that and allow a score or whatever, they know they can rely on their offense and so they don't get down. And so maybe the next drive they make a stop or something like that. So I think that the confidence that Marcel and our offense has instilled in this team is going to carry on throughout the rest of the year. And I think that was such a huge game for that, just for the confidence, and then be able to take that into Auburn, like you're saying, and prove that, hey, we're good, we're mature, we can deal with this. Well, the thing with confidence, Seth,
as you know, is that it's one thing to really believe you can, and it's another thing to know you can.
Yeah.
And then after Saturday night, that mentality flips in your own head because they could have gone in there super confident, believing they could win that game.
Right.
But it's a big difference until you actually do it. Now you're like, I don't believe we can. I know we can.
Yeah.
And that little bit of difference in your mentality makes all the world of difference. And I'll tell you the last thing, your offensive line is going to travel, and it's going to show up every week. It's going to show up at home. It's going to show up on the road. When you have a veteran offensive line, a veteran running back, playmakers at receiver, tight ends that can block and catch, and a quarterback that's going to step up and make plays when you need them, that type of offense is not just going to fall apart randomly at some points. It may have bad series here and there, but it's just not going to have those games where that's a lot of pieces to shut down. You're going to shut down our passing game and our running game and our quarterback. Good luck with that.
So that's what going into the season. Going into the season, that was one of my things that I was hanging my hat on. It was like the confidence, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I know that group's going to perform, but I'm confident in what Marcel can do, and I'm confident in these receivers from what I've heard. But now I know, man. I know those guys are this offense is just unreal.
I may have even my BAS may have even shrunk just a little bit.
You have a lot, man.
I do have a lot. I've been through a lot, so.
To the break here on the other side, we'll get into a variation of freak and sleeper of the week. We'll change it up.
I think this offense, by the way, Nick, before you hit this break, I can think of maybe twice ever I've been this fired up about an A&M offense since I've been covering it. It was obviously the 2 years of 2012 and 2013. And prior to that, Seth, it was
Robert Ferguson?
No, I was excited about Ferris and Ferguson because that was just the first time we'd seen a playmaking receiver and them really getting him the ball. But I was going to go to the second half of was it your senior year when Sumlin took over? Was that the year? It was the year after.
That was the year after, yeah.
2002 when Sumlin took over, and they all of a sudden started lighting up teams and scoring points with Reggie and throwing the ball down. So, and that was short-lived because it was a coaching change. But so because of that, this is one of the 2 times I've been most excited about an offense because, like you said, Steve, I think it's very evident that it plays, it carries, it doesn't matter the opponent.
More of the final countdown on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Welcome back. TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Garner Jewelers. It is the final countdown presented by La Casa Tequila. We're going to go over to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reese Nagrin's got a few interesting chats to read for us.
Angry tweets at us.
Yeah, we have a few YouTube chatters commenting on Billy's appearance this morning. Like Hollywood saying Billy looking so sloppy, and James Ellis saying Billy needs to work out with Nuno.
Wow.
Just
That's shots fired.
Amazing, right? Here's the deal, James Ellis. James Ellis, come say hi. I'm at Gold's most days. You can find me there. Come say hi. Feel free to work out with me. We can do feats of strength. I am looking sloppy. I'm wearing this T-shirt. It is. I don't like the fit of it.
Is this the same shirt you wore at the gym?
No. I threw this on. I don't like the fit. It's like a hanger. It's too big. It's a hanger. I just got done working out with Steve.
Quarter rep Steve.
Quarter rep Steve can attest that how am I doing in the gym these days?
He's doing better.
What are we pushing? What are we pushing up?
I don't know, but I bet I could. I mean, it's not just about bench press.
None of us are enhanced trying to outlift each other, dude.
Yeah,
we're just in there to work out.
We're doing, but don't you? We're not in CrossFit, but
I don't bench. I hurt too bad.
I'd be willing to take bets on what? What would you think?
Your bench press?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, 255.
Oh, shut up, dude. I do 8 reps of that.
Oh, do you?
I will. Yeah, 100%.
I haven't done real bench.
Y'all can all bench more than me.
I would bet any amount of money I could.
You think you get 315?
Probably not.
275
for sure.
Okay.
Maybe 3. Maybe 3. But I don't care.
Maybe 295.
Like I'm just trying. Yeah, I am actually. If it makes you guys feel better, actually in the process of trying to lose about. I want to lose like 20, but I don't want to lose 50 again.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do it slowly.
It's hard to lose weight,
text in about someone's appearance, you effing losers.
Yeah, what is this?
That's fun on a Friday morning. Guess what? I'm going to go eat lunch, and I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want. And then I'm going to go do the treadmill later, and then maybe I'll rein it in for dinner. We'll see. I'm going to go to Waco this weekend and watch college football. I'm going to watch Baylor and Arizona State. I might have a hot dog at the game. Who knows? I might go to, what's the barbecue place in Waco they got? Is it Franklin's?
Oh, Tony Black's.
Black's. I might go to Terry Black's.
They have one of those in Waco?
Yeah.
Hey, I ate bad with Seth in Jackson Hole on my vacation. I ate even worse in Chicago. Still
I'm with
worked
you.
out.
That's the only reason I work out is so I can eat what I want, pretty much.
Translation, I'm happy you're not.
Ooh.
You're texting about another man's appearance at 10 a.m. on a Friday.
It is a bit disheveled.
Get back to work, Terry Ellis. What's his name?
James Ellis.
James Ellis. Go back to work.
Jimmy.
Do something. Okay, go ahead. Anyway.
Time for the freak
Nick
of the
looks
week.
good.
No, I don't. I
And by the
need
way,
to go lift with y'all is what I need to do.
blame it on Steve anyway. I didn't have time to go home and change.
Time for the freak of the week.
It's the freak of the week.
Wow, we really are.
That's on me.
Steve took a bye week on freak
Steve's
of the
over
week.
here working on his posture.
Taking
so
a
this
week
Ellis
off.
guy to come out.
Try not to get called out on here.
Hey,
So the way I want to frame this, guys, is who has been your freak through the first 3 games of the season so far?
Oh my gosh, dude. There's only one answer. Mario Craver. Come on.
Oh,
you guys been a freak
way
for
to
the
jump
first 3
in.
weeks. Come on.
This is true though.
I mean, you could go Marcel, but I mean Craver's been the ultimate
God,
freak.
it's so difficult because it is Craver and then it's Concepcion and Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
Could we play this game where we can't use one of those 3?
Sure.
Because it's either going to be Craver and then I go Marcel or KC and then he goes a third one. That's how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Or let's play where
let's talk about those 3 and give them the praise they deserve.
Yeah,
They've just
because,
been unbelievable.
They don't get it.
And to have that level of talent and ability and to be able just to do it so far on a weekly basis is unreal.
To do
and it's
it
good
to the
to have.
level, to do it to the level they're doing.
Yeah, at Heisman Trophy worthy level.
People are putting Marcel in the Heisman
It's true.
conversation.
Like I'm not even like
Seth's
embarrassed.
beating the drum, the Mario Craver for Heisman drum.
I'll
And I'm
continue
here for
beating it
it.
until
I'm going to
proven
tell you
otherwise.
something right now. If the Heisman Trophy, It's just stupid to say. We're 3 games
I
in.
know, I get it. But that's what we are. We're a stupid show. That's
like
what
half the teams have played one meaningful game. The other half have played none.
Very true.
But since people do put out such lists weekly, why would Mario Craver not? He has had the best game of any player in college football this year.
Yeah.
And I know there are quarterbacks that put up, but like Clemson, LSU, nobody had a game like that. Ohio State, Texas, nobody had a game like that. Miami, Notre Dame, nobody. Go down the list. To go into South Bend, prime time, national TV, John Mateer did not have a game like that against Michigan.
That's right.
And people that want to run their mouths like, I heard the other day it was Staples, and he was on with the Pardon My Take guys, and he mentioned Marcel. He mentioned Mateer, then he mentioned Marcel, and he kind of leaned Mateer. But I'm like, I get it if you think with your eyes that like, hey, Mateer's going to be the guy. Like, I'm not arguing that. Like, it's each person's opinion, and I don't think that's a bad opinion necessarily. But if you're going on what they've shown this year,
right.
What Mateer did against Michigan, I don't think was nearly as impressive as what Marcel did against Notre Dame. If you consider home versus road, Notre Dame was ranked 10. Michigan, I think you can look at both those teams and say Notre Dame would beat Michigan. Michigan's got really no offense right now.
I'd make that bet.
Both quarterbacks threw a couple balls that, you don't want to see them throwing all the time or they'd get picked. I said that after they played Michigan. Marcel, on second down and goal, Marcel's lucky that one didn't get picked.
That's not good.
So neither QB was perfect is what I'm saying, but both were electric. But like Marcel Reed, look, he did more. And, oh, by the way, as Olin said, and I didn't think about this, he had a Heisman moment.
Mm-hmm.
None of these other players have had a true Heisman moment. I heard someone else talk about Carson Beck. It might have even been on the same show. They're like, Carson Beck's been. They both played the same team. One played him at home. The other played him in a very hostile environment on the road. Go compare the numbers from those football games. It ain't even close.
Right. And it could have been so much better. Think about that, too.
So, yeah, look, it's too early. I'm not saying, hey, Reed's a front runner because of one game. But what I'm saying is, if we're basing it off of what they've done
definitely
on the field,
list, though.
He should be up there, and so should Mario.
Yeah. But has anyone ever been the front runner after week 3 and actually won the Heisman?
Who knows?
How often does that happen?
No one even knew who Johnny Manziel was through 3 games. Yeah, you're right. So many of those haven't.
But going back to it, if we want to circle back on the Freak of the Week talk for others, I think maybe you put him on that list of 3, but on the defense, he's that one. Cassius Howell has just been phenomenal, and he showed it again against Notre Dame. Maybe not in the sack number, but he was just so disruptive that whole game, dude. He is a freak. There were people behind me were like, who's this number 9 guy? He's just destroying us. And I mean, it was like he showed it out all night, and he's been great the whole year.
Mm-hmm. So that's a great pick.
That's so good.
I'll go with. If we're going to do that route, I'll go with Le'Veon. I think it's just he had the one game because they eased him in, but I think he showed you that, look, if they'd have wanted to give it to him 15 times against UTSA and 15, 17 times against Utah State, he'd be among the leading rushers in college football. Those were 81 very difficult yards on Saturday night, and he went out and, he had some big ones. He had a 3rd and 12 run that earned him a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
He had those 3 on the goal line, and then he broke their hearts right here.
Broke them.
Or no, that's not it. No, one of those touchdowns run.
Broke their hearts.
He broke some helmets.
Yeah.
That's
power,
this
baby.
one right here.
Yeah,
That's
here it goes.
power.
He broke your heart, Notre Dame. You and your Jeremiah Love. So, yeah, he went play for play, rep for rep with Jeremiah Love, who was outstanding as well.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love is very good.
He's tough.
That's mine.
So mine's actually, I can go on the defense side of the ball with Des Ricks because, I think he has played at a super high level. Having two corners really now that can lock guys up man to man and shut down number one receivers. I don't know that we really appreciate how critical that is to the defense and what it allows the defense to be able to do when you have two cornerbacks that you don't have to worry about protecting all the time. So, Dez playing the way he's playing right now at such a high level, that's who's my freak of the week through week 3.
Nick, if you'd have paid attention this whole offseason, a lot of what's happening right now that I said that was disputed by a lot of self-loathers during the offseason that didn't want to hear it. A lot of people on other fan bases, you can officially send me your "I'll shut my ass up now" card, and I'll accept all of them.
I need receipts, buddy.
Look, the
I want
A&M's
the
gonna,
receipts.
they're going to lose games this year. I don't think anybody's coming out of the SEC with that one.
Mm-mm.
But what I've said all offseason was spot ass on accurate, and those of you that don't like to forget things, file that away too and shut your mouth.
Wow. We'll hit a quick break here, get
Very
to
aggressive
the
today.
sleeper of the week on the other
It's that
side,
morning
then into
workout.
Pick 6. You're listening to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers. Back on TexAgs Live, final segment of the program. We're going to go to TexAgs Overtime, so if you're on KZ&E, just be prepared for that.
I got a timeout for you. You know how long I've been complaining during podcasts and stuff when I have the earplugs that we have to kind of gerrymander into my ears and they come out all the time because they're. And here you are with this behind the head headset and these custom.
No, they're not custom
fit ear things. What? That's exactly.
I'm fairly certain that I have heard that you have a pair of these somewhere.
I don't.
Okay. Well,
no, I've never seen them, never worn them. Been asking
certain
for them.
I know you do.
Seth, been asking for them for 8 months.
Cue Zane to come in. And
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, Zane.
they've been right here. They're here. These are them.
We will order you a
That's
set.
insane. That is the wildest thing I've ever seen in 25 years of working here. Go ahead, Nick.
Time for the freak of the, or pardon me, we already did that. The sleeper of the week, presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic or Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey, and in front
Tempur-Pedic
of
for me.
Lowe's in William D. Fitch.
Jared, you know what? He almost cost, just going back to this Dale Ellis, he almost cost me Noel Ellis, old Aggie DB. He almost cost me a workout this morning, Jared McLeod did, because that Tempur-Pedic of mine is so comfortable. Steve's hectoring me on the phone. Well, work out. Just get it over with. And all I wanted to do was just stay in that Tempur-Pedic, but I did get up and work out.
Yeah.
So the way I want to frame this is, who's going to be y'all's sleeper for the remainder of the season? We'll go about it that way. So whoever wants to start.
I'm going to go. Can I go first, Seth?
Yeah, take it. I was like sitting over here going, oh.
I mean, I guess my sleeper is going to be somebody I thought I would hear a little bit more noise from this year so far, but I feel like it's still coming. He's probably been watching his counterpart, getting a lot of attention, making a lot of plays, and this bye week hopefully will help him kind of redirect some of that attention his way with better play or technique.
Who?
The suspense is killing me.
Really? Ryland Kennedy at defensive end across from Howell. I think that he's somebody I expected to see more in the backfield. I think he had like 1 sack in one game. But
yeah, he did.
I want to see, I think he's going to have a good rest of the season. I could see that.
I'm going to go, part of me wanted to go Damian Sanford. You know, we don't know the status of Scooby. And you know, that looked like I didn't like the look of that injury on the interception, which sucks because if he could have kept his feet, he's picked 6 in it. Instead, he goes down awkwardly.
He didn't need to get up like that either. I think he was just jumping up to try to celebrate or something.
I think either way, whether he's hurt long term, whether he's dinged up short term, or whether just for linebacker depth, I was going to go Damian Sanford, but I'm going to pick 2 just to screw Seth over.
I'm done. Hey,
I'm going the one I lean to most is Ashton Bethel.
Oh, I hate you. Why didn't I go?
You didn't even know who he was until 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
There's no way you could have said his name.
That's ruined. Billy, go ahead and do my sleeper. I pick ABR.
I think you know, Marcel was talking about him the other day, and just he's the home run threat, just like Craver and
a lot of people are talking about him.
And I think, you know,
waiting for him to make the catch, though.
I think people are overusing the word. You're going to hear every football know-it-all talk this week and the next 2 weeks about bracketing. They're going to bracket both our receivers.
And they don't know what bracketing is.
Bracket them both, and we're going to bracket them, and it's going to